Hello and welcome back to your Lab 10 instructional video, Modeling Ocean Waves and Coastal Features. This lab will introduce us to the differences between summer and winter beaches. It will also introduce the fundamentals of tides, longshore currents, and other erosional and depositional features. So as you read through this lab itself, it takes us through a couple different diagrams. One is showing summer beaches and winter beaches. Begins to identify the anatomy of waves, discussing really, we have three dominant wave types, but as you'll see that a collapsing breaker at one point was a plunging breaker, so I kind of lumped them in together, but you'll learn to identify the differences between plunging, spilling, and surging breakers. You'll also learn, as you progress through this, and using the additional supplemental material on the Canvas module, to identify the fact that the slope plays a very big effect as to how these features operate. As you progress, you'll go into beach and coastline features. Here, you are to match the letter with the best word, and then to very briefly define the word. So as an example, I'll choose sandbar. Sandbars are usually depositional areas in which sand has been deposited. So in this case here, M makes a great sandbar. So I'd be able to match number 9 with M and explain what a sandbar is. This will be very, very important for you to complete, especially as we enter towards the final exam. As we progress through the lab, we see some additional features: spits, lagoons, tombolos, baymouth bars. Be sure to define and match which is which. And then we come down here into another explanation of the longshore current. The longshore current is really the thing that used to get me in a lot of trouble when I was a kid. We would go to the beach every 4th of July, and I'd go out to the ocean. My parents would be sitting there on the beach face, and I'd be out in my little boogie board. And then I would start moving down the coast, not realizing I was even moving. Then we had to get out of the water, go back up the beach, and get back into the water, not realizing that the longshore current was essentially transporting me down the coast. Here's some additional features. Here we learn the progression of going through lines of weaknesses till we get to perhaps blowholes, caves, sea arches, collapses, so we get stacks and stumps, and all these different features that go within. Again, be sure to match the correct word with the box, and be sure to describe how it was developed. Here we look at a small activity looking at the tides, the moon, and the sun. In most face-to-face classes, we build an activity that goes with this. We cut it out and create what's called a tide-o-matic. But for the cases of this purpose, I've found a website that's able to provide the Dances of the Tides link. I've linked that into the Canvas module, in which you'll be able to access this, watch the video, which should then answer the questions that we have at hand. Once you've completed that, we move on to our last video. This is actually a 20-minute video called The Beach, A River of Sand. It's a fantastic movie. It's from 1965. They've never remade it because there's been no need. It teaches us not only just how the beach operates, it teaches us about the longshore current and many of the features that are both erosional and depositional. The thing that I like most about this video is that it actually brings us into the idea that we can look and scroll ahead here a little bit. They use actual models. So what they'll do is they have a full wave tank in which they add sand, and they end up creating, again, features. In this case here, they're going to create a spit, which you'll learn about a little bit in the lab. How the sand moves through the longshore currents, gets deprived of that energy, and deposits the sand here until eventually that spit will seal off the bar. So nonetheless, you'll be able to work through this, and then you'll complete here the questionnaire, which does go in order of the movie. Then you'll submit your lab as a PDF, and that's what you have for the week. That being said, enjoy this week's lab. Don't forget to watch the supplemental videos, and we will talk soon.